from Louisville, Kentucky with our new time of 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live stream Saturday night. How's it going out there? We got Sticker Teenager, tell them hi. Sticker Granddaughter.
I got on my pink pony hat, my pink pony earrings.
They're not going with us to New Jersey. My grandson is going with us. Maybe you can go to Chicago if you behave. You want to go to Chicago? Guess so. Guess so. Here, smiling.
Okay. Uncle Paul said, "Happy Saturday night, my favorite family."
How you doing, Uncle Paul? You called me earlier today. Uncle Paul and I are going to meet in New Jersey. He's got some things for me to look at to purchase.
Mikey Rugula said, "Good evening, Sticker family."
How you doing, Mikey Rugula? I got your shirt on today. Hopefully I'll get a new shirt from you in about a week. Your new version.
Mikey also said driving up with J Mayo on Friday.
I watched Joe Mayo's, Mean Mr. Mayo's live stream earlier this afternoon, and he put all three of my comments up there, so I appreciate that.
Polly said, "Hi, Stickermania family."
How you doing, Polly? Show this and then I can take this off the table. This is my Akai. I got in that estate sale the other day, Akai reel to reel. I got my rubber sole 7.5 inches per second. And let's see if I can get it to work. You gotta have the right speed. 7.5. There we go. I listened to the rubber sole today on. There we go. I don't think I have it on right. That's the problem. I didn't put it into the. You gotta go like this, and you gotta go like that. Give it a little bit of extra space. Come on, Frank. And turn on. There we go. And it played really good. You can really, it's like hearing the master tapes from Capitol Records, and it's got the false start on I'm Looking Through You Now, and it starts off with just seeing a face instead of driving my car like the UK. So it is in completely working condition. Sticker Kid had to close the door because the music was too much for him. Rubber Soul, one of the Beatles' great albums. All right, I'll put that off the table.
Mikey said, "Like your shirt, Frank," and then he also said, "Yes, new shirt for you and everyone."
All right.
Uncle Paul said, "I'm bringing t-shirts as well."
Uncle Paul's bringing t-shirts. You guys are bringing the heat.
I better get one of each. A Little Beatles Corner said, "Hello, everyone."
How you doing, Patricia? I got the Rubber Soul Hazel Yardwood -5 mono down here. I'll show that in a second. I replayed that again today, and it's all very good plus condition except for the Michelle track's got a little background noise, the quiet track. I'll show it right now what I got thinking about.
Gordon Teeth said, "Welcome, family. Just got home from Bible study. Jesus loves your whole family."
Rubber Soul -5 1966 early mono. This is up on my Stickermania 2853 eBay store. Somebody asked me today on eBay if I had one of these for sale, and I said, yes, I do. That's the original Amatex polyline sleeve and the -5 Hazel Yardwood cut. The way to hear Rubber Soul in its purest form.
The email to reach Mr. Stickermania and the eBay store.
So we said this wrong on my short. I didn't say underscore, Mr. underscore. That's important, or you can't get a hold of me. That's Mr. _Stickermania at yahoo.com. because somebody was interested in 2 of my albums the other day, my Bob Dylan poster and my Woody Guthrie, but they never got a hold of me. They said they were going to purchase these 2. The Bob Dylan with the Milton Glaser poster and the 2-album set of the greatest songs of Woody Guthrie. All right, let's show what's on the table. We're talking about Hollywood Bowl today. That's going to be my trivia question concerning the Hollywood Bowl. The Beatles at the Hollywood Bowl. This scrapbook's loaded with pictures of the night that the Beatles played at the Hollywood Bowl. August 23rd, 1964. 18,700 people were there. There were 170 policemen on duty, and there were hundreds and hundreds of teenagers that camped out behind the Hollywood Bowl. They had to run them all off. Some of them were in sleeping bags all night long waiting for the concert. There's police trying to keep the girls off the stage after the Beatles had already left to try to get a souvenir off the stage. They just went nuts, and the Beatles were already gone. And I think that's all the Hollywood Bowl in that one. And then this other scrapbook's got the Rolling Stones at the Hollywood Bowl. So when Paul McCartney was at the Hollywood Bowl, he was 21. And when Mick Jagger was at the Hollywood Bowl, he was 22. 2 days before he turned 23. 1966, the date was July 25th, 1965. And there I got a ticket stub that goes with it. That's the original ad in the LA paper for the Rolling Stones at the Hollywood Bowl. Ticket stub was $7 for a box seat. Can I do the trivia question or should I wait on that?
Wait. We're only 6 minutes in.
Exactly.
Got this Discoscene. I've never had this before. This is from Philadelphia, 1966. Discoscene catalog. It was a record club that you belonged to for $5, and you got albums for a discount. But it's a cool magazine. It's got the Beatles invade Philly town. And look at that little flower van that they snuck the Beatles into the Philadelphia Stadium, John Kennedy Stadium. That had a little flower. They were in a limo, and then several miles from the stadium, they snuck them into that flower van so nobody would know the Beatles were in there. And they left in that flower van also. So that's pretty interesting. Flower truck. And there's photos of the Beatles on concert in Philadelphia in 1966. It's got articles of a lot of Capitol Records artists in here, the Beach Boys. It's got all the new albums you could buy for a discount of $2.39. It's got the Yesterday and Today album. Can you imagine getting a Yesterday and Today mono that was a Second State Butcher cover for $2.39? It's got the Rolling Stones Aftermath. And in the middle, it's the record that has all the new album releases, still in the middle of the magazine. Little flexi disc. It says Discoscene. New album releases. Get your head up, please. Want to go take a break?
No.
And it shows how Revolver is one of the new albums released, and Rubber Soul, and Yesterday and Today, and the Dave Clark 5, Try Too Hard, and Temptations, Best of the Beach Boys, the Supremes, the Go-Go, the Birds, Beach Boys, Pet Sounds. A lot of good albums came out in the summer of '66.
Patrick Sweden said, "Hey friends, nice to see Greg Kids today."
Yep, the Supremes, ad for the Supremes.
Nicole said, "Hi Frank and Sticker Kids."
How you doing, Nicole? We got your 2 albums out in the mail yesterday. The Abbey Road French Contract and the near mint copy of the Beatles.
Patricia said, "That's the show I went to."
The Philadelphia one?
I think.
All right. But it's pretty cool here at the very last page. It says, "The Monkees is coming." So this was a month before the Monkees were on TV. They started the show on September 12th on NBC at 7:30 p.m. Says, "The Monkees is coming. Who's putting who on? You'll never know until you see a completely new scene in TV comedy." So it's a pretty cool little magazine I picked up this week.
Daniel said, "Monkeys came and went."
Came and went, but you know that the Monkees at the beginning of 1967.
What did you say? What did you say, Mr. Kim?
Can I finish my?
He said something I couldn't understand.
All right. So anyway, the Monkees were #1 on the charts. They were outselling the Beatles and the Rolling Stones the first part of 1967. Headquarters came out in May of 1967, went straight to #1, and then you know what happened. Sgt. Pepper came out, the Monkees were off the top of the charts, and shortly after, the Monkees show was canceled. Sgt. Pepper was the doom for a lot of things. Music had changed big time when Sgt. Pepper came out.
Daniel Castillo said, "They said the Beatles were as bad as the Monkees on Bandstand."
When they, on Penny Lane and Strawberry Fields, when they had their mustaches. All right, let's do our little trivia question contest on Hollywood Bowl. We're going to give away one of these sealed sets from 1993 when I got the complete, the River Group, the Beatles collection from Uncle Paul. It had 6 of these in the bottom of the box, of the shipping box, and I've already sold one of them to Annular and Carlos and Christian of Mexico. But I'll give one of these away if you can get these 3 trivia questions right, all in the same message. Here we go. Question 1. Which Beatles button did the vendors outside of the Hollywood Bowl, which Beatles button sold the most? It sold 2-1 over every other Beatles button that sold. What did it say on it? Question 2. How many hours did the gates open up early before the Beatles were on because of the fan surge at the gates? They had to open up early. How many hours before the Beatles came on did they open the gates at the Hollywood Bowl on August 23rd, 1964? And the last question. When the Beatles had a press conference at the Cinnamon Cinder nightclub, it was a teen nightclub in LA, who was a Hollywood celebrity that owned the Cinnamon Cinder nightclub? They held a press conference at 7 p.m., 2 hours before they performed at the Hollywood Bowl. He's a famous celebrity. He had a big, what do you call those? Game show. He was a host of a big game show. That's your 3 questions. Anybody given any answers yet?
Am I right?
Who is it?
Me.
No.
She tried.
Nope, none of them were right.
You fair.
I thought the first one would be right.
One of the Beatles buttons outsold all the other ones. Who was the most popular Beatle in America? That's a hint. That's question 1. It says, I love which Beatle? How many hours did the gates open up because the fans were surging the gates and they had to open it up early? How many hours before the Beatles came on stage did they open the gates? And the last question, which Hollywood celebrity owned the Cinnamon Cinder nightclub, teen nightclub, where the Beatles had a press conference at 7 p.m. 2 hours before the show?
Look at Patrick.
Patrick, then Daniel.
No. Patrick got 1 right. Daniel, you got it, Daniel. Good job. Daniel
4 p.m.
Costello won. They officially opened at 4:20, 4:30, but you're close enough. But the I Love Ringo outsold all the other Beatle buttons. This is original 1964 Beatles button. I Love Ringo outsold all the other Beatle buttons by 2-1. And they opened up the gates 4 hours before the Beatles performed. I think it wasn't 4:30. It was like 5:20 was the exact time, and the Beatles came on at 9:35. So it was about 4 hours before, because there were 3,000 teenagers almost busting the gates down. And Bob Eubanks was the man. He introduced the Beatles on stage. He was the promoter, and he owned the teen club Cinnamon Cinder, where the Beatles held a press conference. Good job, Daniel.
People got it right after.
Or a lot of people got it after him.
Mikey got it right after Daniel.
All right, way to go, Mikey. Couple other notes before I start showing some things. So this goes to Daniel.
Mikey said Daniel said 4 p.m., not 4 hours.
That's true, but I rounded it up. I already gave it to Daniel. Sorry, Mikey. Mikey, I'll bring you one of these to New Jersey if you want one of these. I got about 4 left. Or do you have one there, Mikey? Couple other notes. Strawberry Fields Forever Music Radar. It's on the internet today. They decided that Strawberry Fields Forever was the greatest pop record ever made.
Mikey said he don't want it. And
All right.
Daniel Vogel said those were tough questions.
All right. Yeah, they were. Yeah, but I read all these articles that helped. The day after the Beatles performed, all these newspaper articles were in there. How much did the binoculars sell for? The vendor sold 400 in 1 hour. That the binocular all the girls are shown holding on to at the Hollywood Bowl. How much did they cost?
He says he's got the booth display, so he must have all of them.
Yeah, he told me he had.
I can read.
So everybody, all the vendors were selling everything at the same price. The buttons, the programs, the binoculars, everything was the same price outside the Hollywood Bowl. What was the price?
400.
No. What was the price for all the merchandise at the merch tables outside the Hollywood Bowl? Everything was the same price. What?
$25.
No. $1. Everything was $1.
Mikey got it.
400 was high.
The buttons were $1.
Mikey
The binoculars were $1. The programs were $1.
Mikey got it.
All right, Mikey, you win. I'll bring you this T-shirt to New Jersey.
That's rude.
Couple other notes, and I'm going to talk about this Decca audition tape that was discovered in Canada. Lollapalooza, there's a lot of people that are into rock music at Lollapalooza, they're upset because they're changing it to the Queens of Pop this year in Chicago, August 3rd. Sabrina Carpenter, Olivia Rodrigo, and Gracie Abrams are the headliners. But people have to understand, they saw that Chapel Roan drew 110,000 people to an afternoon concert in Chicago last year, and they never expected that, so they changed what Lollapalooza is this year. It's the Queens of Pop.
Patricia said those prices were the good old days.
Yep.
The $1 prices.
Chapel Roan's gonna be with headline with Travis Scott in Leeds and Reading at the same time as Lollapalooza in England. Yeah, the Rolling Stones, I talked about the Hollywood Bowl. The songs that the Rolling Stones performed at the Hollywood Bowl in 1966 was Not Fade Away, The Last Time, Painted Black, Lady Jane, Mother's Little Helper, Get Off My Cloud, 19th Nervous Breakdown, I Can't Get No Satisfaction, and the last song was The Spider and the Fly. That's a weird song to have as the encore. But boy, the rest of that would have been a non-stop, hectic, fast performance, because when the Rolling Stones were popular there in the 60s, the kids went nuts. So I bet some of them jumped into the moat during the Rolling Stones concert. And you know who opened up for the Rolling Stones in 1966? There's a little trivia question for you.
Who wants a sticker?
July 25th, 1966. Who opened up for the Rolling Stones? Secret Cage, you're bored. Who opened up for them?
The Beatles.
No.
Okay.
What?
It's like a form of a bull or something. What do you call them? The great big ones. Out in the west. Call them buffalo. That's a hint. Buffalo
Wild Wings.
Springfield.
Buffalo.
They show Neil Young going up the stairs to the stage with the Buffalo Springfield. So Neil Young was in the group at the time when they opened up for the Rolling Stones.
My
All
dad
right.
said, I wish I saw the Stones in the 60s.
Yep.
Daniel said, Daniel Vogel said Yardbirds.
No, one of the Yardbirds.
Yeah, I don't ride with Buffalo.
I'll show my Yardbirds autographs one more time. While we're talking about the Yardbirds. Where's it at?
Where is it at?
Right here. This was in the same scrapbook as that Rolling Stones. Because this is all to do with LA when the Yardbirds had a press conference on 1966. September 7th, 1966 at the Troubadour. Jeff Beck didn't show up. He's right there in the middle. But Jimmy Page was there and they autographed all these little... You got the lead singer Keith Reff. And you got Jimmy Page there on the top, bottom. And you got Jim McCarty on the top. He's going to be at the Fest for Beatle fans, a drummer. And on the back, you got Chris Draza. All right, that's pretty fragile stuff. I better put it away.
Psycho's Platter said, good evening, all.
How you doing, Psycho Platter? That's the first time I think you've ever been on our stream.
Yep. Patrick
Welcome.
Sweden said Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin.
Yep. Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin. Now we're talking about Led Zeppelin.
Everyone, like, subscribe, hit the notification link for giveaways and great lives.
So my personal opinion, that Decca audition tape that they discovered in Canada several weeks ago, that a man that retired from a record store, had it in his record store for years and years, is the real deal. It's a straight copy from the master tapes from January 1st, 1962. They played Money and one other song on the newscast in Canada. And I've never heard Money sound in that kind of fidelity before. So that was a 15-inch, I think it was a great big reel and a 1/2 inch wide with white leader tape in between the 15 songs. That was straight off the master tape at Decca Records. And how it ever got into Canada all that time at Mushroom Records and then ended up in that record store is beyond me. But it's one, here, you better leave. You're getting in trouble. Tell everybody bye. All right, cameraman evicted one of our members from the video room.
And that made me happy.
All right, good. But anyway, what was I broke my train of thought. I think it is a straight off copy of the master tape because there's 15 songs, each with white leader tape in between. They took a lot of time to put that tape together, that master tape. So that's not from a bootleg, that's from the original master tapes. And they played almost all the money there on that Canada 8-minute video. And the retired record store owner says he will give it to Paul McCartney for free if Paul McCartney comes to Vancouver and buys him dinner. My guess is that's going to happen here shortly in the next month. When Paul McCartney finds out about that, he'll be straight to Vancouver and get a hold of that because it's one of the most amazing Beatle finds in the last, I don't know how many years. What do you think on that? There were 15 songs the Beatles did on the January 1st, 1962 Decca audition with Pete Best. Here's the songs. Like Dreamers Do, Money, Till There Was You, The Chic of Araby, To Know Her Is to Love Her, Take Good Care of My Baby, Memphis, Tennessee, Sure to Fall, Hello Little Girl, Three Cool Cats, Crying, Waiting and Hoping, Love of the Love, September in the Rain, Besame Mucho, and Searching. So you can imagine if Paul McCartney gets a hold of that master tape and gives it to Peter Jackson, what Peter Jackson could do with that.
Johnny Remote said yo-yo.
Said what?
Yo-yo.
Yo-yo. What's that mean? She's here?
Hey.
No, hi.
Daniel Castillo said the cover of song Money is on tape? Question mark.
The
The cover of Money. The Money, that's what I want. That's the one that they play mostly on the Canada TV broadcast that from a couple days ago.
Why'd you look so confused?
I don't know. All right, we're gonna be at New Jersey in next Friday when the Beatle Fest starts. The Fest for Beatle fans starts in New Jersey at the Hyatt Regency. So the hotel, we're at the secondary hotel, and it's already all booked up too. So if they had 500 people at the Fest for Beatle fans last year or 1,000, it's going to be twice that much this year. They got 2 hotels already all booked up for it.
I know y'all are so sad I can't come.
So some of the people that are going to be there, Simon Kirk from Bad Company is going to be a guest. Jim McCarty that I just showed his autograph, the drummer from the Yardbirds, is going to be there. And if you can believe this, that kooky guy in the movie I Want to Hold Your Hand, Eddie Dietzen, comedian, he's going to be there. And if you remember in the I Want to Hold Your Hand movie, they have a little part of it, a segment where Eddie's bragging and showing his Beatle collection. And he has the bobbing head dolls and all kinds of Beatles memorabilia. I think Jeff Osberger loaned some of his collection for that movie. And Colin Hayton from the Quarrymen, drummer from 1957, when the Paul McCartney met John Lennon for the first time, the drummer, he's going to be there. And Gary Burr, that was in the Ringo and the Roundheads, he's going to be there also.
Uncle Paul said he's bringing me a chapel-related gift, and you better give it to me when you get back.
He's
Uncle Paul's got a gift for her that's chapel.
Oh, gotcha. All right. I promise Uncle Paul I won't sell it in New Jersey.
Hopefully. Gordon Teet said you can hear the Decca sessions on YouTube. Someone remastered the songs on YouTube crystal clear.
Not from this audition tape.
I don't know.
He's talking about from Joe Pope's tape from the when Joe Pope had Strawberry Fields Forever. He got a hold of maybe a second or third generation copy of that, but it's not and he put out those bootleg singles, colored vinyl, but it's not the fidelity that this master tape is that was just discovered.
Johnny Ramone said they have a trivia question for you. How many quarrymen left?
How many quarrymen left? My guess is 5. What's the answer?
Patricia said 3.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it is only 3. The answer is probably 4.
Right in between.
All right, butcher covers. I think those are most of my notes, and we'll start showing some things. Butcher covers.
eBay store STICKERMANIA 2853. Mr._STICKERMANIA at yahoo.com.
Patricia said she was right, so she's saying it's 3.
3? Okay, good job, Patricia. I was wrong.
Yeah, Johnny Ramone said yep, so 3.
How many members were in the original group of quarrymen? Was there more than 5? Was there 6 or 7? I don't know. So the latest butcher cover, you saw me where I had it halfway done the other day on the last live stream. And we are going to do a live stream Wednesday before we leave town at 8:30 p.m. on Wednesday, which would be March 26th, I think.
Johnny said met him here on radio interview.
Met who?
Quarryman.
No, the quarryman. So this is the one I finished up the other night. They're getting tougher and tougher to do.
So there was 6 originally.
6 original.
John.
So you got no seam splits on this. You got a few touch-ups on the edges. The edges are real tough to do anymore. And they don't come off as smooth as they used to. The glue lines are more pronounced now as time moves on. This is an East Coast Scranton. And that's the trunk slick. I got the trunk slick off all in one piece using the wet towel technique. I sold a Second State the other day, a stereo, I think for $1,200 on my eBay store, and this is the mono that I have up there, and it's the butcher cover's peeking down there on the bottom edge, which makes it pretty cool. So you can imagine getting this in 1966 and seeing this down there, and you probably didn't even know that a butcher was underneath there. But as time went on, you always would have one corner where they were trying to peek to see if the butcher cover was underneath. It's another, this is a...
She's not home alone, Paul.
This is a West Coast, number 6, Los Angeles. Peeled, you know, my theory is that you're not going to find them in this kind of condition anymore. Too much time has marched on. It's got a touch up there on the top, but a real nice peel with the realistic faces that the West Coast has, and it doesn't have the glue lines like the East Coast has. Those glue lines right there, and the West Coast hardly has any at all. Big difference.
It's
Big difference.
Johnny Lamont and Patricia trying to figure out who's right on the coin. And
Is it answer 3 or 4?
they're fighting between 5 and 6. Johnny
Oh, you
Lamont
mean
saying
the-
there's 5. Patricia
oh.
saying there's 6.
Oh, the original.
The original.
Gotcha. And one more that I have is another East Coast Scranton that I peeled probably a year ago. Number 3. All right, that's my butcher covers. What you got to talk about out there? Any questions for me?
Nope, no questions for you.
Closest I ever got to a Beatles concert, I was 2 days late when I was 10 years old, and I saw Andy Williams and Donnie and the Osmond Brothers at the Indiana State Fair on September 5th. But on September 3rd, the Beatles performed 2 shows. It was pretty rare for them to perform 2 concerts in one place. I don't know how they got talked into that. But they performed at the Coliseum, which is the 5 o'clock show. And then at 9 o'clock, they performed at the Grandstand. And that's the original ticket for it, which is, original price was $5.
Oh, Jesus.
And they were up, this sold out right away, that afternoon show, the 5 o'clock show. But the Grandstand, the evening show, didn't sell out till right before the concert. But you can see the Bill Black combo drum set over there on the right, and you can see a man with a 16mm camera up here taking film of the Beatles in the Coliseum. There's pretty much a professional film that they did of the Philadelphia show and the Indianapolis show, September 2nd and September 3rd of 1964. And then I think August 23rd was probably the same camera crew that did the film the Hollywood Bowl concert.
The 1-to-1 concert was $10.
1-to-1 concert,
That's what
Uncle
Uncle
Paul
Paul
must have
said.
said it was $10.
Yeah.
Some things that I've sold and traded for lately. Show some of those. So my Mexico Beatles group buyers that I'm going to meet in New Jersey have already bought. They bought 1 set of these trading cards. They're going to buy this greeting card from says Longfellow Cards. Let your hair down, birthday, just celebrate your birthday. Why not do it as the Beatles do? And then it has a American Greetings display card. They bought that also. Yeah. That they must have hung in a American greeting cards store back in 1964. It's got a little bit of tape marks on the corners. And they also bought the Made in the UK, a real nice reference book that came out in England. I guess there's a whole series of these. Supposed to be some of the best reference books ever on Beatle records. And this is the ones that were made in the UK. Quite extensive.
Daniel Vogel said the box of trading cards had 2 super rare inserts of a photo of the Beatles in concert.
Yeah.
Johnny Ramone said
There's 36 10-pack packs inside this sealed case.
Johnny Ramone said selling Uber Clean, Sick and Stay, Mono Butcher Cover on Earth, Repair Cox, COA. And he also said got the Blue Beatles birthday card, Frank ?
Okay.
He's asking.
I do not. That's all I have. I told Mikey Arugula the other day this Hard Day's Night ticket. This is the ticket stub, but I got the complete that has the part that the usher got They had an auction. They did a clean out of a Boston house a couple weeks ago, and they put it on eBay. And they put the pictures of the 13 complete tickets that were consecutively numbered. It wasn't on the main picture, so it faked everybody out, but I noticed it. Sometimes you gotta look through all the pictures. So I got 13 of them coming in. Hopefully I'll have them to take to the New Jersey Fest for Beatle fans. So it's another inch bigger over here on this side. Has the complete ticket. I got 13 yellow ones and they're all consecutively numbered. So they're still discovering things 60 years after it happened. A abandoned house they cleaned out by an old movie theater in Hull near Boston, and I got a hold of them. One other thing, I did my big trade with the retired DJ in the New England area. I'll be mailing these out to him next week. He got the Meet the Beatles, the mono that has no publishing credits, because he needed the record to go with his promo with the green sticker that Mikey Arugula has one. And he got my near mint that I opened up of Beatlemania from November 22nd, 1963, with the original inner sleeve and an unplayed record. And he traded a lot of promo items from me. That two of them were these Led Zeppelin jukebox from Led Zeppelin 4 with the strips, and House of the Holy. The strips are backwards in there, but there's the strips for House of the Holy. He had a big, retired from the New England area. And he's been sending me boxes and boxes of his extra promos. He also wanted the Magical Mystery Tour that has the drilled free up there on the side. That's the very first pressing of Magical Mystery Tour from 1967 with the leftover psychedelic inner sleeves from Sgt. Pepper. And he got the sealed Magical Mystery Tour from 1977's coming his way. The best sounding audiophile pressing of any Beatles album that ever exists in the world. Besides this little baby here, the $5,000 Sgt. Pepper Supercut Nimbus Supercut from 1984, a special pressing they made in England. They only made 1,000 of them. So all that's coming his way next week because I've sold a lot of his promo items that he's been sending me.
Paul said amazing. Johnny Ramone said got that blue ticket here untrimmed in yellow.
Untrimmed in yellow? Mm-hmm. Yeah, well I got 13 of them coming in. They're all consecutively numbered at the end. Rubber Soul, that's the 7.5 reel-to-reel I played on the Kai at the beginning of the show. That's the original. They were sending the original reel-to-reels where you could send away for the Ampex tape catalog. It's hard to find this Rubber Soul with no rub wear to that front slick. What else do I got to show? I got these through Phil Harbor in England. The yellow or the blue one and the white one, the 6-pack. Pick of the Stars Terracombe. And Phil sending me a butcher cover. I might have it next week before I leave, I hope. That's got the pink interior on the inside of the butcher. The inside of it's going to be pink instead of that color because it was at the end of the roll when they were printing off the butcher cover, the covers that they put the slick on. It's all pink in the inside. I've only seen one of them on polygram auctions, that he highlighted, and I have one coming too. From Phil in England. Talk about that revolver. Can't not talk about revolver. This is the revolver that came out in Target that they made a mistake. They misspelled it on the spine. It's got the t-shirt inside. I still have 2 of these left. I'm sure Mikey already has one of those. In a 2023 in the shipping box. They're supposed to have the best mono pressing ever of revolver. The box set, factory sealed. Andrew from Polygram's auction says it's better pressing than the 2014 mono pressing. Talked about that. Got another Life magazine from 1964, August. Really good shape. The Beatles on the cover right before they toured America. But they do 29 concerts and 27 concerts in 30 days, I think. They only took a few days off in LA when they rented that. The retired actor was in the Scrooge movie that I talked about, where I had a piece of the what was that, the lounge chair by the pool.
Yeah.
The Beatles stayed there, I think, for 5 days.
MFK Music Fan 68.
Here's a trivia question for you on the Hollywood Bowl show. The Beatles played on a Sunday night at the Hollywood Bowl, August 23rd, 1964. Who performed at the Hollywood Bowl the day before? Let's see if we can come up with that one. And it's tricky. It's not a rock group.
Must have been Beyonce.
Not Beyonce. She wasn't alive.
MFK Music Fan 68 said, did they make a Butcher cover reel to reel, or was it banned before they got to production?
Yeah, Butcher cover, or the reel-to-reels weren't made mostly until after the Butcher cover came out. So the Yesterday and Today's got the regular trunk cover on the reel box. I have one of those in my bank vault of the 7.5 inches per second reel-to-reel of Yesterday and Today with all true stereo mixes. It's on my STICKERMANIA 2853 eBay store. All right, sold a couple of Denny Lane sign albums I sold today. This is the Master Suite solo album that Denny did only in England in 1987. Master Suite. So that's signed by Denny Lane, and London Town signed by Denny Lane. I sold those together in a lot for the pair for $50.
Barbara said Beach Boys, Sonny and Cher, and the Birds. Out Hollywood.
No.
None of them?
All right, here's the answer. Nobody would get this unless you looked it up. Mitch Miller performed at the Hollywood Bowl the day before the Beatles. And as soon as Mitch Miller was, all his, as the concert was done, 7 o'clock the next morning, the security, half of them, 85, showed up to protect the Hollywood Bowl because they were already camped out. The teenagers were already camped out. The hills behind it and the Highland Street in front of it, it was just a nightmare. This album I got when I got the Macintosh receiver. He threw this in, a mono copy of Paul Revere and the Raiders, Just Like Us. It's got the big hit song Stepping Out on it. Oh, you know, you got a true mono of those early Columbia. It's got the 2 eyes, and it's got mono at the bottom. And you don't have to have a mono cartridge to play these mono pressings if you have a mono switch on your receiver, like I do. But it would probably be better if you had a mono cartridge.
Greg Fio said, "Hi, Sticker family."
How you doing, Greg Fio? You weren't around when we did the Hollywood Bowl trivia question.
MFK music fan said, "The Righteous Brothers, I thought played the night before the Beatles."
I looked it up. It's right in these articles in the scrapbook. Mitch Miller played the night before the Beatles.
Okay.
See if Gregory Fio agrees with me on that. Mitch Miller performed on Saturday night and the Beatles performed on Sunday night, August 23rd, 1964.
Greg Fio, just say you agree.
Did he agree?
No, she's just being dumb.
So here's the Strawberry Fields, a picture sleeve from England, which they consider the best pop rock song of all time.
He said
Missed it.
I missed it, but I saw the show in '64. I was around.
Yeah. Badfinger. Tonight on eBay, they had a auction of all 4 members of Badfinger from the early 70s on a scrapbook page. And there were 5 watchers on it. And 2 of us made there were no bids until the last 2 seconds. And I made a pretty strong bid and got it, I think, for $360. All 4 members of Badfinger: Pete Ham, Tom Evans, Joey Mullen, and Mike Gibbons, all on a scrapbook paper, all 4 signatures, authentic, for $360. So I think that's pretty good on my part that I got a hold of that today. So here's a Badfinger single of Baby Blue in the original company sleeve. You know how Baby Blue got discovered by the young generation, Gen X, because it was the last song they played in the Breaking Bad TV or series. I don't know what's that on, HBO or?
It's on Netflix.
Netflix. But the last scene where the lead actor kills himself, I guess, with crystal meth, they're playing Baby Blue.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Greg, the trivia question was, who played the night before at the Hollywood Bowl before the Beatles?
No, he wants to know what
Well,
the
that was
trivia
my latest.
question of the night was, where he's asking what you asked the 3
Oh,
questions.
the 3 questions. Let's see. How many hours early which Beatles button of the 4 Beatles sold the most of the vendors before the show? And it was I Love Ringo outsold everything 2-1. And how many hours early did they have to open the gates because there were 3,000 frantic teenagers at the front gates ready to storm them? They had to open it 4 hours before the Beatles came on stage. And the last question was, who was the Hollywood celebrity that owned the teenage nightclub Cinder owned the Cinnamon Cinder teen nightclub, where the Beatles held a press conference 2 hours before their concert, and the answer to that was Bob Eubanks, the man that promoted the show and introduced the Beatles right before they came on stage. All right, back to where I was talking about. Apple singles, That's the Way God Planned It by Billy Preston. There's a new documentary coming out on Billy Preston. Kevin from Kevin Records told me about that. Hey Jude, this is the very first issue of a Hey Jude with the original West Coast tab cut sleeve and the record with no George Martin credits or no credits at all on the labels. Very first pressing of Hey Jude, which was #1 for 7 weeks in a row. and Sour Milk Sea, and Those Were the Days were the second and third Apple singles. Those Were the Days was number 2 on the charts behind Hey Jude by Mary Hopkins and Paul McCartney. Produced by Paul McCartney on the credits. And Sour Milk Sea by Jackie Lomax. If you listen and watch the video of this, it's not impressive. But if you watch that new video on YouTube where they have a Sour Milk Sea outfake featuring all 4 Beatles and Eric Clapton, it's just amazing the difference that somebody's put together. And they have background vocals from Helter Skelter on there that they mixed into the song. So you need to check that out on YouTube.
Greg said Joey Mullins' funeral was this week. Sad but true.
Did you go to it, Greg?
Greg said Cinnamon Cinder.
Yep, Cinnamon Cinder.
And then do what Greg said at the bottom, then come back for the redneck.
Greg said now called Platinum live on Ventura Boulevard. Jackie D, Shannon, and Bob came to our Lennon gig called Just Imagine on the same stage.
Jackie D. Shannon what?
Jackie
Bob.
Dishon and Bob came to our Lennon gig called Just Imagine.
Jackie DeShannon opened up for the Beatles on the 1964 part of the tour.
Do the Renee.
Renee
Let me
said,
finish up this and then we'll take questions to finish this out. We got the deal. My local buyer is going to buy both of these tomorrow. Unused picture sleeves. We got Girl from Love Songs, 1977, I think, unused picture sleeve. They found these several years after the Love Songs release. A warehouse find, I think, of like 1,000 of these. Perfect shape, textured. And the unissued single when they were going to do a Beatles session album of Leave My Kitten Alone. And Obladi Oblada, the alternate version. And the Rolling Stones, I showed that last time, the Some Girls. This is the UK first version. I saw my sealed Some Girls with the white cover, black and white cover, went out in the mail today for $188. All right, let's take some questions and then that'll be it for tonight.
Renee said, person who owns a record store in Vancouver, Canada. He has a rare Beatles tape. He had his own store shelf. He finally played it. It was a copy of the Beatles.
I went through this whole thing.
Okay, well they just said it, so I'm reading it.
All right, I went through this whole thing about that Decca audition tape.
Greg said,
check the first part of my video. I talk about this. Didn't I talk about it for 5 to 10 minutes?
I know.
Yeah.
they just got on here.
All right.
It's a new person.
I think it's one of the most remarkable Beatle. I agree with you. It's one of the most remarkable Beatle finds in the last 10 years. That Decca, the exact copy of the master tapes from Decca Records of the Beatles audition tape from January 1st, 1962 was just discovered in the last month in a Canada record store. And it's been verified by the man that retired from Mushroom Records in Canada that it's a real deal.
Mikey said, see everyone next weekend.
Yep. Well, we're going to take our time getting down there, Mikey. It's about 13 hours. We'll probably stop halfway through. But we're looking forward to spending time with you and Joe Mayo and all the other, Uncle Paul and all the other people that know me from my channel that hopefully we'll meet in New Jersey and spend a little time with.
That's all.
All right. Did we make it to 45, 50 minutes?
58.
58.
59.
Almost made an hour. Better than last time. See you all later, and we'll do one more Wednesday night before we leave. Got to get everything together and ready to go. See you later. Thanks from Louisville, Kentucky.
Goodbye, you all.